Man United, much in the news this week. We'll get into some of the reasons in a second or two. But Monday night, since our last show, they scraped a 1-0 win against Wolves. Wolves, who absolutely dominated the shot count with 23 attempts on goal, 6 of them on target, and should, of course, had the chance to equalise from the spot late on when Onana clattered Kaladzic in stoppage time. The penalty wasn't given. VAR was not. The screen was not consulted, and as a result of that, referee Simon Hooper, VAR fellow Michael Salisbury, and the assistant VAR fellow Richard West have all been given week 2 off. Daniel, you're in favour of coming down hard on referees.
No, I mean it was a penalty decision. It was a mistake. I'm not actually sure what. It seems a very sort of childhood punishment to be like, right, you're banned from refereeing for a week. It's sort of like go to bed with no dinner. You don't get a game. It's preferable to me than it is relegating them to the Championship, which just feels like it just kills both parties. It says to the Championship, your football's not worthy. It says to Championship fans, you get our castos while they're on the naughty step. And it says it doesn't really help the referee either. But I just think, it was a mistake. It clearly was a mistake. I'm not sure it does anything banning them for a week, though. I don't know if that helps anyone.
Man United, meanwhile, were dominated by a Wolves side that had changed managers just days before this game. Do you foresee them being better this time around when they visit Tottenham Hotspur?
It will be hard for them to be any worse. I mean, they were absolutely dreadful. I think it's one of the most remarkable results that I can remember in terms of a team being dominated to that extent and still managing to win. And one thing that surprised me was that when United announced the Mason Mount signing, I think a lot of the focus was about how he would fit into the team in an attacking sense, how he would play alongside Bruno Fernandes, etc. But I remember thinking, well, that's a great move from a defensive point of view as well, because he's, such a hard worker. It was, one of the things that stands about him the most, I think, as a footballer, is that in addition to all his qualities as a creative player, he always puts a shift in, always on the front foot with the pressing. And I remember thinking, Casemiro, Mount, Fernandes, that's an extremely energetic midfield three that's going to cover a lot of grass and going to put their opponents under a lot of pressure. And Wolves just ran through them at will. I mean, Matheus Cunha, I've rarely seen an opposition player monster an opposition midfield at Old Trafford single-handedly in the way that he did. It felt like every time he kind of got the ball with a bit of space inside his own half, he was beating players for fun. And I don't know whether that was because United are slightly behind in their physical preparation, or perhaps they're sort of planning to peak later in the season or something. But it felt like there was a real kind of deficit between the fitness levels that the two teams showed. And I think, given the personnel in particular, that was a very curious aspect of the game.
Do you think we've all got it wrong about Wolves, who were widely forecast to struggle really badly?
Yeah, I think Gary Neal's almost gone in there and gone, wasn't really expecting to get this job. I'm confident in my abilities as a coach. And also, he actually said this last week, don't expect us to play, or Wolves to play as I did at Bournemouth, because it's a different squad with different set of skills. And I think looking at the Wolves team is actually better than I think a lot of people remembered.
Although, isn't this classic Wolves in that they had loads of chances and didn't
they
score?
still need to sort out their finishing. It has been bad for a couple of seasons. But in terms of the creativity and as you say, Cunha travelled almost 200 metres with the ball, which is like massive at Old Trafford. It was extraordinary. And a lot of people have put Wolves in their bottom three for the start of the season, and now again, I meant 10th.
Hello there. If you've enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to this channel? The Totally Football Show podcast is available 3 times a week, bringing you all the football news you could reasonably be expected to care about. We've got views, we've got stats, we've got analysis, we've got some of the best football writers around, and the whole thing is absolutely free. So have a listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the usual places by clicking on the link below.